Good evening, folks. Welcome back to another match of Minor League Esports. I am your host once again. My name is Ice Cold Brew. We are sponsored by the one, the only APM Music, providing these fantastic beats for us this evening. And joining me in the booth for his second stream is Ham Grenade. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, ICB. Thank you. I'm a little nervous, not gonna lie. It's my first time on the main stream. Last time I was on Omega Blaze's channel. I got Bluey with me. If you have any questions, please direct it to Bluey.
All right, all questions will be directed to Bluey. How does Bluey feel about this match we got going on? Because we have the Express versus Aviators in ML3s. That's Master League, so think Grand Champ level right now.
I think
Who do you think's going to take it?
I think Bluey, she just whispered in my ear. She's a little worried for the Aviators. So far, they're 5-10 in threes. The Express sitting around 9-6. You have to be giving it to the Express a little bit. I know chat's been predicting 60% to the Express, so we're just going to see what's going to happen when we get out there.
And yeah, no, I'm feeling much of the same way. The Aviators lost out to the Hawks last week in a clean sweep 5-0, while the Express didn't really have that strong of a record, only winning one of their threes matches against the Outlaws that they played against, if I remember correctly. But on the field right now, we're going to have on the Express, and we're going to have a mix of 16-5s and a 17 in there. We have Spidey 720 and the End of You, both of which are 16-5s, and Juddy as well at 17. And they perform pretty well together, all averaging near 40 to 50% in Sprocket rating. Meanwhile, over on the Aviator side, we have Felix Year, who is a 16, along with FFS Lucio, who is a 16-5, and we got Evil Marthy on the 16-5. So it looks pretty even, at least salary-wise, but the question here is how well is our chemistry as we see Spidey getting that demo on Felix here in the first 10 seconds of the match. You have Juddy taking that ball up into the corner down to Evil Marthy, who dodges the ball, dodges the bump, but Felix tries to pass out to Lucio. Spidey gets in the way, gets a 50, sending it back to Evil Marthy. End of You gets demoed by Evil Marthy. Aviator's trying to make an impressive aggressive push here, almost getting a demo on the back line. But now, misconnection between Felix, Evil, and Lucio there, just not able to get the ball in front, but maybe Felix can. And there goes End of You, sending that ball booming forward out to you.
You have to be thinking the Aviators are going to want that chance back a little bit. They want to come out here hot. They want to get these goals in early. They just want to make a statement if they want to starting getting a trip to playoffs. Excuse me.
Yeah, we are at a point right now where a 5-10 record does not look good for your team. And if you want to make it to playoffs, you have to start winning series starting now. And we're hoping the Aviators can put a blowout performance on right now. So far, the Aviator, we have a rule one with End of You and Lucio. Spidey tries to keep that ball forward. Juddy looks at it, debates on it, decides against it, passes back to Spidey. Spidey up in the air, misses a touch.
They did break the rule one. That's wild.
I really hope it was one of their teammates. If not, I will be putting a report in against both of them and seeing if I can get them banned. Spidey takes this ball up the wall, all the way boomed out by Lucio, sending it off the side. That ball looks like it's going in off the post. Great shot.
That's a fantastic shot. You got to think that's exactly what the Aviators are looking for. They're trying to come out here, blaze, and take control of this game right immediately. And so far, they're not on their heels. They've been on the offense a good bit.
Yeah, I would say it's been pretty well balanced between the two, with Express trying to put their best foot forward and Aviators just caught unaware there, tries to get the save, but Lucio just coming in with a nice little pop on that ball there.
This is an unfortunate kickoff. Kickoff goals happen all the time. Aviators are loving that one, though.
Anything to help make them feel a bit more comfortable in the lead right now. And I think they feel it. I think they really feel that they need to have this series. And we're seeing a lot of great exchanges between the Aviators right now, just actively looking for each other, looking for passes. End of You blocking that shot from Evil Marthy, but Felix is already on top of it. Sends it forward. Marthy goes for the demo, tries to get to Spidey, misses Spidey, and Felix cannot get there in time.
We got Evil Marthy trying to get the ball back out. Well, what a dunk by Spidey. The ball's going back over into the corner.
Yeah, I'm liking the way the Aviators are pressuring the ball right now. Good save from Felix. If you're the Express and you're trying to get this game rolling in game one, try to make a strong impression, how would you approach this as a player if you're already down 2 and the halfway mark is hit? in the game.
You just gotta calm down. You gotta worry less about the 2-0. You want to be pushing the ball more on offense. Maybe take a little bit more chances. It's game 1. You're down by 2. You don't want to see the series get out of hand if the game does.
Yeah, Express almost had a great opportunity there, but Felix and Marthy were both on top of it just in time, just placing that perfectly. Juddy looks like he's trying to get a pass back off the backboard, misses a double tap there. Felix demos end of view, which probably threw off the Express push, and Marthy demos the Spidey 720 as well. Just every player on the Express side not able to get around, but Juddy says, fine, I'll take it in by myself with the pass from end of view.
Juddy just got a free ball from end of view and just decided, I'm just going to score this. There was really nothing the Aviators could do. He broke their axles.
Broke their axles and just kind of threw them all off. They all bunched up on that back post. There was no spacing on that play either. And I think they just caught the Aviators a bit too excited, a bit too anxious about being in the lead right now. Now that cushion, that 2-point cushion they had is further and further away. Maybe they'll have a chance to get it back though, as that ball heads off to the corner. Marthy tries to pass it in front of the goal, but Juddy booms it away, gives it to end of view, who sends it booming all the way out to the corner. Evil Marthy demoing Juddy there. 720, Spidey sending it up towards Juddy again. Ball coming off the backboard, so Felix jumps for it, and end of view misses the touch as well. That's so unfortunate, as Juddy tries to put it back in. Cannot get there in time, so Spidey has to make a play. Felix pops it off to the corner. Smart play. Double demo on the field right now. We're looking for the Express to keep this offensive momentum forward, and Aviators are just kind of struggling on their own backcourt at the moment, trying to get this momentum they had the very first half of the game, but it feels like the Express have them figured it out now. End of view, great demo on Lucio there. Unfortunately, Spidey can't get the play to work out there.
Express pretty constant, and there's just a goal. Juddy just puts it in.
Also, shout out to Evil Marthy for an extermination on the field. I just saw that pop up there.
That's awesome. It's a really good pass from end of view. The Express just kind of had offensive pressure for the past, 45 seconds. It was bound to go in.
Yeah, just all that momentum, all that energy. It feels like the stamina of the Aviators just burnt out immediately. But now Spidey 50's off of the Aviators. Felix pops it up high. Juddy's keeping it alive right now. Try to pass out to Spidey. Lucio just trying to give it a soft touch into the corner, forces Juddy to put it back there. But now end of view. Let's try to put it on target. It's a little bit close. Felix trying to bump off Juddy. Ball pops up over, and Felix gets caught on the post. And unfortunately, I don't think Lucio's able to get another touch on that either.
Yeah, the thing, maybe it's stream jitters. Maybe the Express just had stream jitters in the beginning, and then they kind of just calmed down, and when the Aviators got the lead, they didn't want to lose it.
And that's kind of the pressure on stream from time to time. Some people forget, you're not listening to us commentate actively. You're not looking at chat cheer you on the whole time. You got to focus on the game. This is just like any other series. Start acting like that game is working out for you. And end of you looking for a playmaking difference here. Evil Marthy going around the world with the ball, but unfortunately that ball gets slammed down to the ground. Game 1 going to the Express.
You're going to want to, the Aviators are going to be wanting that one back. It feels like they had that game, and then the last minute and 30 seconds, it was just all Express on offense, and they ended up coming back with the win.
Yeah, it just felt like the Express in that very first half, they were just so caught off guard, and the Aviators just sprinted halfway down the field, and then once they hit that 50-yard mark, once they got to the halfway mark, they were just gasping for air, unsure of what to do, not knowing where their rotations were. They felt lost the entire time.
Also, it's pretty crazy, someone getting an extermination, and it still feels like there's just more blue players at some points than there are green players.
And yeah, I think it's just a wrong mismanagement of priorities. I think if I was Evil Marthy trying to get demos on the field, I would try to make sure it's the striker I want. And right now it seems to be Juddy is the one that end of you and Spidey are looking towards. End of you especially trying to be aware, because that's the big difference maker here. Juddy's 2 goals from passes off the team, getting slow pops over the opponents, over the defending line. That's the difference maker of this game. That's why the Express ran away with it.
Yeah, Juddy does come out with the MVP, but you got to think of those assists from end of you.
Yeah, and the other way about it too is to shut down those passing lanes. And so hopefully with this game 2 starting off, we're going to see that with the Aviators. Hopefully being able to anticipate where that ball is going, being able to get in front of it, get it locked down as Felix cuts off that shot, that dribble from Juddy, sends it off to the side. Felix, Lucio, both double teaming there. Juddy demoing Evil Marthy. Ball down in the corner, going upfield to End of View. End of View looking for some blood at the moment, but Felix gets out of the way, takes the ball. But Spidey is right on top of it. Marthy pops it up high, trying to keep momentum going. Looks for some bodies to run into as well. Cannot find anyone in the goal line. Unfortunately, Aviators can't get a shot on. End of View, last man back, but Lucio's right there. Ball's right in front of the net, and no one's able to convert from the Aviator side. Express finding a bit of reprieve on that play there.
End of View's been doing a fantastic job as third man. He is constantly back there bailing out the Express on the defensive end.
Yeah, you just have to be aware of that defense, and it's why I get the idea behind demoing and trying to get rid of that last man, but you have to make sure you have possession first. You have to make sure that your team is able to find an opening and get that ball towards the net by the time you go for that demo, or else you're just leaving your last man as the last man, and they might just miss a touch. The ball might go sailing over them while you're just stuck in their net trying to bump someone who's not even important in the play anymore. End of View. Backflips, takes that ball. Evil Marthy gets on it though. Juddy passes up to End of View. End of View sends it center field over to Juddy. Juddy puts it back to the side. Aviators trying to keep it alive here. Send it upfield. Felix tries to get a redirect down, but instead it's heading over to Evil Marthy, who takes it up the side of the wall, trying to get an air dribble going, but Juddy's already on top of him at that point. Almost 2 minutes have gone by.
Spuddy gets the ball back in. There's a huge bump. I don't know if you saw that bump. I didn't see who it was coming out. I think it was Juddy coming out. Got the bump on the Aviator playing. It was the End of View trying to stopping the Aviator player coming back into the net.
Yeah, Evil Marthy just could not recover in time. None of the Aviators were in the back line and left that easy opening for Spidey to just drop it in from up top. Almost 2 minutes have gone by right now. We see some action from the Express taking that first point of the game. Now the question is, how will the Aviators respond? How will they recover? Spidey demoing Lucio. Juddy tries to get around Felix. Felix able to keep it down to the ground. Spidey gets it right past one, looking to get past two, but instead it goes right back to End of View, blocked by the Aviators.
Aviators been doing a really nice job this game, keeping the 50-50 from the start of the first game. They haven't really been on their half of the field too much.
Yeah, they're looking a little bit better on defense, minus the one mistake they made. But now Juddy is able to get it past them. No one went back post on that rotation there. Just both people dove on the ball. Looked like there was a double commit from Marthy and Felix on that play.
Yeah, it looked like you had one person going for that side boost, and then both of them just get beat to the ball by Juddy.
Such a shame. As soon as I try to compliment the Aviators, there's just one minor mistake that throws the entire game. But,
is that a caster curse? Is that our fault?
I'm going to say it's our fault, but maybe Lucio's going to build it back up. Spidey missing the touch, and Lucio booming it from one corner to the other, gets it right into the net.
Lucio's just able to catch the Express on their back feet. Spidey pushed up a little bit too far. He just pops it right over him. Nobody in net.
And now we're in the opposite situation of what the Express were feeling in the first half. We're past the halfway mark, but as soon as that hit, Aviators got a goal for the M. Now it's 1-2 in favor of the Express still, but the Aviators finding some life. Might try to get it back now. Off pop over the backboard. And I believe that was Lucio trying to make ends meet, but could not get there in time. Juddy tries to get the shot on. Sends it off the post instead. Smart jump from Marthy. Gets in the way there. But now End of View keeps it down low. And Juddy tries to help out, but instead just sends the ball off post away anyways.
Express, for every time except that one goal, have been doing a very good job making sure there's a person ready for that hit right back to their end. I think that's the biggest difference right now. The Aviators' third man is pushed too far up, and then you get touches like that.
Are you more of a threes main or are you more of a twos main? Can you provide some insight?
I am more of a threes main, but I am CL.
I mean,
but I can do my best.
CL coaches still get the idea behind plays, and it's important. You know, we have such a variety of players here in the league. it's important to get that insight of like why the Express are still able to shut down the Aviators play and what's not working for the Aviators, because right now I only see 2 shots. So to finish my statement, I only see 2 shots from the Aviators. Meanwhile, the Express are pounding the ball away, getting 3 goals out of their 6 shots they put on.
The Aviators' touches are going east to west, left and right, when the Express are north to south. They're just putting, they have the more pressure on offense, and they're providing more shots into the goal. More shots to the goal, more shots go in, win game.
Exactly. And now that you say it's more north to south, yeah, the Express do a better job of playing that middle lane and passing it right in front of the net, right to Spidey. Great pass from Juddy out in that corner. This gets enough boost to get past Evil Marthy, confuse Lucio, and Felix just too late to react and too far gone by then.
They just unprepared for that ball to go as far over them as it did.
And 40 seconds left, down by 3 goals. And once again, folks, I'm saying, just to put a curse to myself, I've seen stranger happen. Maybe this team can come back. And we see that ball come off the backboard, but Felix going a bit too fast, too furious, sends it off to the corner instead. Now Lucio tries to get there. Marthy gets up in the ball. We have all the Aviator players on the same side. And now they're just trying to get something going for the next game in hopes that something will work. End of view, jumping back. Evil Marthy bumping out Spidey, but Spidey coming back for the ball. Juddy sends it back into the corner. 3 seconds left on the clock. Felix backflip sends it back to Evil Marthy. End of view, keeping it up high, but right now the game is going to go in favor of the Express once again, and we are seeing a very dangerous situation for the Aviators.
One thing I noticed that game, ICB, and tell me if I'm wrong, every time an Aviator player was on the ball, there was an Express player also 50ing the ball. The Express just kind of have more time with the ball to just pretty much do whatever they want.
I'd agree with that. And the bigger thing with that too is the reason why an Express player can pressure the ball like that, can be right on top of that Aviator, is because they already know that they have a teammate right behind them. That is trust, that is chemistry, that's proper rotation. People are paying attention to where each other are on the field. And End of You, big shout outs to them as well, because the End of You was being a great third man, just disrupting these plays, getting in the way. Maybe he only got 1 assist this game, but Spidey and Juddy could not have made these great plays and passes off to each other without End of You getting in the way of that offensive push from the Aviators as well too.
The End of You is doing an absolute fantastic job, just not letting the ball go into his half of the field. Every time it's up, he's just, no, go back that way. And then Spidey and Juddy can just go back in and wreak havoc.
The intangible aspects of players being determination and game sense, in which you get to learn. Maybe that's not going to be calculated on the field that often. Maybe we don't get to see the numbers of how well someone is doing, but there are aspects that bring someone up from a mid-tier pick to a high-grade pick, and that's just game sense, baby. As we go into game 3 right now, Aviators are in trouble. Spidey able to take that pass, but Evil Marthy is already on the ball. Sends it flying. That looks like it's on target and just a bit off post, but there is FFS Lucio getting the assist to Evil Marthy there.
I think Felix might have heard us. End of You can't hit the ball if he's just not on the field.
I think that's the right play to make. I think at this point in time, Aviators just have to put as much pressure as they can on the Express and don't let them do whatever they want in the air. Don't let them just pass so easily to each other. Juddy kind of perplexing me there, jumping in on the ball, trying to help out End of You, but instead just causing that much more danger.
Aviators got to be loving this. You know how much of just a positive boost this is to lose the last game like you lost and come out 2-0 before the 30-second mark.
2-0 before the 30-second mark, as we seem to be having some technical difficulties right now. We have Spidey flying up in the air, trying to get a shot. We're doing this old school, y'all. This is just like baseball back in the day where you got to listen to it on the radio. You have Lucio taking the ball up the side, looking for a chance here. Spidey sends the ball down into the corner. That ball's right in front of the net, but Spidey is able to recover in time. Now End of You in the middle of the post right now. Juddy looking for a chance. That's Felix setting the ball up high, and it gets sent away by the Express. Now Juddy Playing patient. Felix gets in the way and redirects traffic, sends that ball booming forward. Marthy tries to help out. And now Lucio takes the shot and sends it in.
Express there kind of just went all out on offense. Didn't give them much time to give back before a boom came.
Sorry, folks, just letting the broadcaster know. As we get ready for this, we have Felix missing the kickoff. Lucio getting demoed by End of View. Now we have Spidey booming the ball forward. Has a chance here, tries to get in front of the field. We have a 3-0 in favor of the Aviators right now. Hearing the frustration from us, feeling the frustration themselves, and just trying to get the Express to make more mistakes. They're in game 3 right now. They need to get a win. Spidey almost puts that ball on target. Marthy booms it back into the corner, sends it up the field all the way over to End of View. And I'm liking what I'm seeing from the Aviators right now. They seem to have figured it out. They figured out how to play around the Express and make them make mistakes in order to get goals.
Yeah, no, I'd completely agree. It seems like a completely different team from the last 2 games. That's a huge bump.
Huge bump, and Lucio almost puts that ball on target. Spidey getting a save. End of View putting it forward over to Juddy. Juddy pops it up. Just trying to keep it alive, trying to keep it in their favor. And we've seen them get the lead before, but at the halfway mark, they lost momentum. They started feeling more winded and gave up the game there. This time trying to do everything in their power to prevent that. Marthy tries to bring the ball down, but Spidey sends it back up into the ceiling. Felix pinches it off into the corner. No one's there to pick up the call, though. End of View misses a touch. Spidey pinches it off the 50. Now Marthy almost gets there in time, but End of View and End of View and Juddy both running into the ball there.
Not a bad idea from Lucio to hit that all the way back to his corner. It gave him and his teammates time to just get collected, get back on the attack. I don't know what they changed in between games, but it seems to be working really well for him.
And Felix, great pass from Evil out into the corner, sends it right in front of the Express goal and just makes it nice and easy for that shot there. Good bump too, just shoving End of View out of the way.
You have to think, they're just thinking reverse sweep. That's all that's in their head right now.
That's the fear. That is what I would love to see from the Aviators right now. They're having me believing, but that shot from End of View looks dangerously close. So Evil Marthy's able to get it up into the side, into the corner there. Juddy gets a 50 off the Aviators, but not enough there as Evil Marthy has it right in front of the net. Looks dangerous, tries to get around it, but Juddy gets a lucky break as that ball gets popped out with the help of End of View. And yeah, the Aviators are coming back a little bit stronger now. And it feels like the Express aren't really looking for each other as much. They aren't really getting those passes out. They aren't really able to disrupt the Aviator defense as much either. And
the Aviators really aren't giving them the time anymore. Every time an Express player is on the ball, there's just an Aviator right there, just like the Express were doing to the Aviators.
I think there's something to credit to what you said earlier as well, where Lucio walked the ball back into the corner. Great save from Felix, coming soaring through the air, sends it into the corner. But there are times when you can take the ball from the front half of the court and just walk it back to your corner. That will buy your team time. And more importantly, that will buy you time to find a chance to reset the play as Marthy passes down to Felix passes down to Marthy, returning the favor from earlier as well. They've been looking for each other all series right now.
They just seem much more patient, much more calculated this game. They're not panicking nearly as much offensively or defensively than the last 2 games.
Yeah, and what's been really nice to see is 100% goal participation between all the Aviators. 3 assists from Felix, 2 assists from Evil Marthy, and 2 goals between Marthy and Lucio, 1 from Felix. Just everyone getting involved, but Spidey almost dropped that ball right into the net. Lucio booms it off to the side. Now Juddy looking to make a play of the week clip here. Exclamation mark POTW if you see a clip that you think is worthy of getting a case of Balls Guarana.
That save was pretty incredible. Where did Lucio come from?
I feel like he came from like the very front of the net and just scooped it out. It was extremely impressive. I love seeing saves like that because his play of the week a lot of times has these hyper aggressive plays, you know, impressive flicks, flip resets, whatever it is. But you don't get a lot of saves out there. Marthy able to just hover in the air long enough to block the shot from Spidey. Now, Spidey trying to keep it alive. He wants to get at least one goal for his team to keep this alive, but unfortunately doesn't pass it out far enough to end of you get a point.
Saves like Lucio's and Marthy's don't get nearly enough credit as goals do. Those were I know they didn't really matter because it was a 4-0, 4-1 game, but they're huge for your mindset.
Yeah, when you build up a brick wall, when you say this is my goal and I will only let you in it if you've earned it, shutting down the Express from what was essentially a very dominant start of the series, shutting them down to no points out of their 8 shots, it's fantastic. Spidey was the only one able to get saves. Juddy and Enderview, same score, only 2 shots each, but we didn't really get to see a lot of Enderview playing up to what we saw in the first couple games. We didn't see Juddy get these nice passes and these great shots. Spidey was just out there all by himself, getting saves, trying to get the ball up in the air for the team, but it didn't really work out in their favor.
The entirety of the Aviator team was just on the ball when they needed to be. They were able to get the touches where they wanted to go, and they have to be pretty happy that they didn't let Express get one more. That's huge for the momentum carry into the next game. Game 4. Game 4.
Right now it's 2-1 in favor of the Express. Aviators looking to do a complete reverse sweep, and with the 13 shots they just barraged into the Express. You felt like they were fighter jets just trying to find their target the entire time, and they were able to at least 5 times. Now the question is, can they keep that momentum forward, or is that all they got in the tank before they come crashing down as Juddy wins his kickoff?
Sorry, I was just high CB. Shoot more shots, score more goals.
Shoot more shots, score more goals. Typically the way it goes. As we see Evil Marthy shoot the shot from half court right into the net. Just a slow lob, which is a defensive killer in my opinion.
It just caught Juddy off guard. Juddy thought Enderview was getting it. As soon as he didn't get up to it, I don't think there's any way Juddy's reacting fast enough to that ball.
Those kind of slow pop shots like that, especially from the half court where they should be coming in faster, but they are not. Oh my God, Juddy almost has that ball and Felix getting the save, but Enderview opts not to put her on target, instead puts it to the side, trying to get some time for the Express to set up for an offensive push. Now we got Marthy taking the ball into the corner. Spidey sends it upfield to Felix. Marthy, no boost to speak of, no boost to utilize. Trying to get a play going. Lucio gets bumped out of the play. Knocked all the way upfield. Now Enderview, breakaway point here, goes to tie it 1-1.
That feels a little bad for the Aviators. You can take some solace knowing it was a bump play and not anyone really messed up, but so that's got to feel bad.
And now my worry here is that might be enough to just work to wear away the mental fortitude that the Aviators showed us last game, where they knew they were down 2 and did not care. They ran away with a 5-point series, 5-point match on that. But we might be looking at the Aviators starting to crack a little bit if they cannot get the defensive pressure. Good flick from Lucio, pops it up high, keeps it going. Enderview jumps up, sends it to the corner. We have a triple commit. All the Aviators on the same side, meeting in the minds between Marthy and Felix. Sends that ball back up the side right to Lucio. And I'm really hoping the Aviators have a bit more in the tank, because I would love to see them get into a match 5 series win situation here. But with that main game the Spidey just pulled off, I'm scared for them.
They're keeping the pressure up really well. I mean, they're not giving the Express any time to do anything with the ball.
Yeah, and we see Enderview send that ball off the backboard. Spidey jumps for it. Juddy still in the air. Demo and Lucio by Spidey, but Enderview tries to get a read off the ball and passes out to Juddy. Juddy comes in and cleans up the mess. They took the lead after not scoring a single point last match.
Enderview's probably just thanking Juddy in the comms right now. We've all been there. We've all just missed the open net and just thank you.
I think honestly Enderview did a smart play there, because if he tried to just force it in, I feel like it would have just pinched out and they would have lost that chance to convert. But now Aviators are on their back foot. Ball popped right in front of the net, but unfortunately Marthy's not there to pick up the call, as one of the other Aviators is stuck in the net right there. Marthy keeps it up high over to Spidey. Spidey pops off the ceiling over to Felix, but Enderview is still there midfield. Felix looking for a chance, but Juddy's already on top of it. Marthy's all by themselves, looking for an opportunity for the Express to get a bigger lead, and Felix booms it all the way upfield. right into end of use bumper.
You're starting to feel that the Express are maybe starting to find the cracks in the Aviators situation.
Yeah, it just feels like the Aviators haven't been able to really show that initial reason why they won, which was they were able to put shots on net. They were able to keep that pressure up. Right now, they are kind of stuck on their back half, not really able to get accurate quality shots going towards the goal or passes to each other. At the end of you, anticipates Juddy being center field and just waits for a good chance to drop the ball right in front of him.
That's a great pass from end of view. He had to get to that ball pretty quick to stop. I didn't see who it was on the back wall, but to stop the Aviator from clearing it out.
And one thing I just noticed was Juddy actually also dodged a demo from Evil Marthy. Marthy just getting it ready for that pass off, but could not get in the way of it there. Fortunately, not able to disrupt the striker. End of you now has a chance to carry it over. Goes for a double tap. Instead, it goes to Spidey. Spidey 50s off of Lucio. Ball going up high. I'm sorry, that was not Lucio. That was Felix. Now Lucio has possession, though. End of you. 50s up towards the center. There is not an Aviator back, so Felix has to dive on it. Marthy bumps off end of you. End of you demos Marthy back. Felix pops it up towards the center, but end of you's already on top of it. We're looking at Aviators kind of struggling to get a point on the board, trying to get some kind of play, but every time they pop it up high, end of you or Juddy is already there, and Spidey is ready and waiting for the second touch to set up the pass. Double demo from Spidey as well.
It just seems like the opposite of last game. Express are just all over the ball every time someone from the Aviators gets ready to touch it.
And Aviators realizing they lost that chance for a sweep, decide they just want to get the 4-1 and be done here. They want to guarantee the series win. End of you booms it forward. Here's the Aviator right behind him. Dodges. Lucio keeps in the corner. Marthy inches off with Juddy, but that ball's still heading over towards the Express side. And Juddy misses the touch off the side of the wall. 50 by end of you. Ball heading forward. That looks like a breakaway chance for Evil Marthy. They got another point. It's 2-3 in favor of the Express still, but maybe the Aviators have some life in them yet.
Marthy's a madman with these demos. This is the second demo goal in 2 games. Literally that exact thing, just took the third man out.
And I think that's a good idea, but there's a little bit of an over-reliance on that third man demo for the Aviators to make a play work out. And it's sometimes working against them, but now Marthy up in the air is trying to get a dribble down, but Juddy booms it off to the side. End of you has a chance to take the ball, sends it up towards center, right to Spidey, who's waiting to get a touch. Cannot meet it, though. Ball heading down. Over to Felix, who passes off to Marthy. Keeps it alive. That's heading in. That's a good angle from Spidey to get another point.
What a shot. What a read.
Yeah, just look at this angle. Like, realizes Marthy is going to miss the touch. It bounces a bit too far out for Marthy to do anything about it. Felix comes up to contest, but Spidey already has the ball in possession. Just needs to do a nice simple pop and runs away with it. Now we have 15 seconds left before the Aviators lose a series. Calling it now because I don't think they can get 2 more points. But I might be wrong. Oh, Juddy saving the day there. 3 seconds left, and that's going to be the series to the Express. Juddy with a savior just to put the finishing touches in.
That's heartbreaking for the Aviators to have that game 3 and then to just not be able to bring it all back together for game 4.
And I think that is something to say about the play style, especially at higher levels, where you get really amped up in that game 3 where you know you're at match point and you want to make a difference. You have to figure out a way to keep that energy up going forward and anticipate what kind of changes your opponents will force on you. And right now, a lot of those is just Spidey coming in with 4 demos to disrupt that defense. And again, repeat of game 1, confuse and agitate and throw off the Aviator defensive end and make sure they don't get any good offensive pushes either. Just a lot of struggles to get a shot up. Anytime they brought the ball up high, there's either Spidey or end of you already up in the air, sending it off.
And then Juddy's 2 for 3 on his shots. When he's feeling himself, it just seems like a rough Express team to play.
Extremely rough Express team to play. And Heartbreaking for the Aviators, but they still have a chance to minimize the damage. Get a 2-3 instead of letting the Express do what they want. Just get one more win. Show us again how you played in Game 3. Show us that you can be a high-caliber team against the Express. That's all I'm asking. I want to see the Express run away and at least be happy with a couple of their matches. Yes, the 2-3 always hurts.
You wanna have a good game to end going into the bye week next week too. You don't want to go into the bye week feeling down.
Yeah. You don't want to struggle between 4 games of what should we do replay review on, because all these were just us getting blown out. But you do want to find at least a couple games where you did it right and be able to show exactly how well you can play. Lucio passes over to Marthy. Marthy booms it off to the backboard. Lucio's up in the air. Soft touch off the backboard again. Tries to get over to Felix. Felix cannot meet it. Marthy's already up. Lucio, no pressure to the Express, but Marthy, realizing that, jumps forward. Tries to pass out, but unfortunately pitches it off to the corner. But Felix is staying on it. Keep that pressure on, Aviators. Don't give the Express room to breathe. Don't let them even know who's around them. Don't give them a chance to even think, as Lucio takes this ball up the side. And we are heading into Game 5 here in favor of the Express.
Yeah, the Aviators just seem like they need to relax a little bit. Some of their touches have looked a bit panicky, a bit rushed. They just need to take their time, find the openings around the defense.
Yeah, and I think they have just a big habit of popping the ball up, trying to compete with the Express in the air. And I don't think they need to do that. I don't think you need to compete in the air against them. You can keep the ball on the ground. You can pass to each other and try to get slow rolling plays. Just slow down the Express offense in some way, either by keeping the ball back at half court and throwing it back to each other, or just keeping it low, going for fakes, and trying to force the Express to dive as often as possible as Felix jumps up in the air right behind Lucio. Marthy almost finds a target there. Felix slows it down, but that gives it to Juddy, who's going to try and carry it over. Cannot make the conversion, though. Spidey puts it in the corner, looks for another touch. A little bit off target. End of view tries to put it in, but Marthy gets a save. Aviators finding a little bit of a reprieve there. Good pop-up from Lucio. Another pop-up on target. Puts it in, gets the first point in favor of the Aviators.
They did exactly what you said. They didn't try to challenge in the air. They just put the shot right over them.
I think that's more what they need to do, especially when... One thing I'm noticing is whenever Juddy is the one pressuring, he reacts a bit too slow to the Aviators having possession, and they get a little bit more space. I think they need to take more advantage of that. Felix not able to get the ball into the net, instead pops it up high, but Juddy is already up there. End of view sends it forward. Juddy cannot get there, so Marthy puts it in the corner. Ball gets pinched out towards the net. Almost an own goal from Juddy, but bounced off the post instead.
If the Aviators do want to play the aerial game, the Express are just giving them a free backboard. They haven't had anybody posted on the backboard to defend it.
Yeah, and I do think they try to play it off the backboard as well too, but the Aviators are a little bit inaccurate when it comes to that. However, if they can just keep finding those passes, they can just keep looking for the backboard each other. Marthy dodging a demo from end of view, but unfortunately Juddy gets in the way of that pass. Felix booms it out. Marthy, smart play, goes back, tries to give some more time to Felix and Lucio to rotate in. Now Marthy pops it up high, looks to pass to Lucio. Good demo by Felix, reading the play.
Just a great demo, honestly. The wherewithal to turn around after getting boost and just take the Express teammate out of the play.
Just a good read and a good way to kind of think about what the opponent's looking at. Spidey's looking at that ball, getting ready to jump up to defend it. Lucio sees an opportunity, knows he's not looking at him, and just comes in for the boom. Takes it away, but now Juddy looking for a shot, little off target. But now end of view, keeping it alive for the Express, tries to get it out, pops it up high. Spidey tries to jump for it. Felix already in the air for it. Juddy almost has a chance here, and unfortunately, they just cannot get that defense on the backboard. Just flying right by the ball as Juddy rolls it right in.
It just seems like every time the ball hits his car on the offensive half, it's either at the net or to the opening it needs to go to.
And I think that's why Juddy is such a threat. Is he is so close to the net, he able to get the touches he needs, or his teammates give the touches he needs in order to bring it down and put it right into the net, and causes the Aviators kind of panic a little bit. Spidey takes the pass from End of View, and now we're tied up again 2-2.
That's a nutty pass from End of View.
And just double taps it off the side, and then also Spidey
Just able to put it underneath the defender.
and just the angle of his car before he flipped made it look like he was going to shoot it up towards the crossbar, and then he just flips into it and ducks it down. Marthy gets a save off of Spidey's shot. Juddy's going in for another touch, but Marthy is already in the way. Ball's coming over the backboard, though. That's dangerous territory. Express able to convert on this before. Unfortunately, Juddy's not able to make the point and get the lead for the Express. End of View, though, still just pressuring the Aviators the entire time. Making it really difficult for them to get another offensive push like they had earlier this half. For the Aviators side, do you think they've been doing the right play right now, trying to keep it on the ground? You know what? I'm going to stop talking. I'm done. Great pass from Marthy to Felix there. He pops off the 50, hits it right in front of him, and is just able to get that easy read. Spidey demoing Marthy, but not able to get to the ball in time.
To answer your question, yes, I do. I do think the Express might be the more talented team in the air. So I think it's to the Aviators' benefit to try to keep the ball on the ground as much as possible.
And if they can just force the Express to ground, it makes it so much easier. Flip reset from Juddy, but not able to make it in, but that's okay because End of View is there to save the day.
He got so much power on that. That ball went from a standstill to over 2 defenders. That's wild.
That's disgusting. And honestly, the only thing that would have been better is if you put the ball in net, but I think the Aviators were anticipating that, which is a smart shot to put off the crossbar there. And then End of View with the smart read. We're back up tied 3-3. So Lucio has to give the ball over to Felix. Felix tries to give it back to Lucio. Lucio dodges. Felix pops it over to Evil Marthy. Spidey with the save, so Lucio brings the ball to ground. It's 3-3, do or die, Aviators. Is this going to be a 4-1 or a 3-2, in which you put everything on the line? End of View taking the demo on Evil Marthy, shutting him down, passing it down to Spidey. Spidey carries it over. Felix not able to get that touch. Lucio sees some miss from Marthy. Felix gets a demo on Juddy. End of View anticipating the backboard, hearing what we said earlier, was just waiting on that, but gets in the way. And now we have Spidey in the back of the net, but unfortunately Lucio and Marthy double commit, cannot convert that point. Now Juddy brings that ball all the way up high. 30 seconds have gone by in this overtime play. Can the Express get that 4-1, or will the Aviators run away with it? And will it be a pass off the backboard? Will it be a shot off the ground? Juddy comes in for the save, seeing Lucio bring it down to ground. Able to disrupt that there.
I think if you're Aviators, you go absolutely all in here. The last thing you want is to go into the bye week knowing you could have put more out on the field in the last game of your last series.
And End of View almost finds the center of the net there, but Martha, you happen to be in the way. Juddy gets a good 50. Sends it over to Spidey. Spidey demos Lucio in the air, but that ball's free rolling down the field. Felix jumps up, anticipating Juddy jumping for it, but Lucio anticipates that, sends it back. Now End of View is looking for a pass back to his teammates, but Marthy moves it forward. Felix gets a 50. It's up in front of the net. Juddy gets demoed by Felix, but Spidey's already on top of it. Looking for a ground pinch. Has to keep the ball in the corner. Is trying to get a pass out to one of his teammates off the backboard, but Lucio's already up. Meets End of View, beats him to the ball, but now Aviators just need to find 1 point. Don't look at the time. Don't think about it. Don't overcommit. Evil Marthy already rotating back, trying to keep them alive, trying to pay attention to where that ball is going for the defense. Lucio booms it forward. It's coming off the backboard. Marthy's on the back. Ball rolls down. Waterfalls, but no, cannot get converted. That's Spidey. Keeps it in the corner. Juddy jumps up for it. Evil Marthy looking for another chance here, but End of View is there, being the hero that they need in that moment.
This is absolutely what you want from an overtime. Just back and forth. No team really holding on offensive pressure. The ball is just in each half of the field.
Lucio tries to redirect it, but gets shut down by the Express. I don't know which player that was, but smart play from them. Now we have Spidey. This is a touch in the corner. But that might be enough to make Lucio panic. That ball's rolling in front of the net. Lucio 50s it back into the corner. Back to Juddy. Boy, I'm on the edge of my seat right now. This is the kind of match I love to see as Felix booms it forward. But end of view has it. Brings it to the midfield. Spidey tries to just give the Express more time to get a bit more of an offensive push. Spidey misses a touch, but Juddy was there. Sends it off the backboard. Marthy brings it up high. Hitting the 3-minute mark right now. End of view. 50s it back into the corner. Felix is trying out here. Felix is doing his best. Lucio. Buddy off towards the center. Double commit from the Aviators. That was very dangerous. Need to communicate even if you're running 3 minutes past the clock. End of view misses the touch. Juddy gets a save in that moment. Looking for another chance. Getting another point up, but no. Goes up the wall towards Lucio. Lucio booms it forward. The Aviators aren't able to get another offensive push as Juddy is already in the air meeting that ball and sending it to the corner. Demo by end of view on the defender at Evil Marthy. Now the ball's in front of the net looking for a doozy. Cannot get there as it heads off to the corner.
The fact that the Aviators have still not let this ball in their net is a testament to their stonewall defense in this overtime.
Excellent, excellent. Oh gosh, 4 minutes into this right now. I'm covering my mouth because I'm so unsure of who's going to take it. Right now it's so evenly matched. Yes, the Express have more shots on net. Yes, they're keeping that pressure on, but also the Aviators keep finding good chances. They'll run away with a break. Felix, just a bit too fast, comes right under the ball, instead pops it over to the corner. Now, looking for another chance here. Lucio takes it up the side. Marthy commits. Felix almost pops it down, but Juddy comes off the crossbar, get that save. Lucio gets the boost. Marthy comes in, cuts in for the ball, sends it over the backboard, looking to get it to Felix, but no. Lucio stepping back, waiting for that touch from Spidey. Spidey slows it down, and Felix sends it off center to Lucio. Ball's just off target. Juddy booms it. That's a 50 towards the net. That's going to roll in if they don't get it saved. Felix coming out of the net to get it. Ooh. Folks, we have played a full match in time right now, and we still don't know who is going to take this game 5. Yes, the Express have won, but the Aviators are acting like they're on match point right now. But now Juddy almost, if Juddy had a little bit more momentum, he could have just brought the ball into the net, but no, he did not have enough time. Now Spidey takes the pass from end of view, but gets met in the air by Felix. Lucio meets Juddy, but now there's no Express player out there. Now end of view sends it off the backboard, tries to get it out to Spidey. Spidey finds the back of the net, and it goes in. 4-1 in favor of the Express. They take the series.
So I was at a loss for words. Just realistically, it's the longest overtime I've personally ever seen.
I wish the Aviators played like that every game. Could you imagine how out of breath I would be if we played all 5 matches with a 5-minute overtime each?
Regardless that they lost that last game, they have to be like very proud of themselves for how they played in that overtime. That is hard to do.
That is so hard to do. And just, they held down the Express for 5 minutes in overtime at a tie. That only one mistake was just the legs gave out. They didn't rotate. And Spidey just found that one gap that he needed to put that ball right into the net, right into that corner pocket. And it's so impressive.
It went post in too. Like it was a really well placed shot.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's a lot about the accuracy, but Aviators, do not count yourself out. Play like that more. I swear to God, you will, like, I see people cheer on the Express in chat right now, but also let's give it up for the Aviators as well too. 4-1 in the series, but that last match was just beautiful.
Chat, you were here. You were here for the 6-minute overtime.
6-minute overtime. And folks, with that, we are going to wrap up for the weekend. We are heading into a bye week. That means no games next week coming into this. Take your time, practice with your team, figure out what's next for you as we get into the next set of matches coming up. And with that, I want to give a huge shout out to our sponsors as well. Guardian Pro Line, where you can pick up your own merch. If you want to pick up an Express jersey, an Aviator jersey, a Demolition jersey, best colors, then go pick one up. You can pick it up in the Hyperion, the Vanguard set, whole variety. We also got Pride jerseys, hoodies, beanies, whole bunch of outfits that you can pick up from Guardian Pro Line. Along with that, shout out to our bot team, Sprocket Devs, who have their own merch as well. If you hit !Sprocket, you can pick up some hoodies, you can pick up some shirts, you can pick up your own little Sprocket bot as well. Thank you all so very much for coming out tonight. Anna, thank you so much for casting with me. This was something to believe in.
No, thank you, ICB.
And with that, thank you so much. Have a good night, y'all.